So in this video, I'm going to cover inheritance. Now, in object-oriented programming, you're often going to come across a situation where you end up wanting to make quite a lot of different classes, but lots of them might have common similarities. Now, inheritance will allow you to do this in a way that will stop you needing to duplicate code. So if we stick with our example here of different types of characters for a text-based adventure game, sticking with this, there are going to be certain methods and attributes that might apply to every character in our game, and then there might be some methods and attributes that are specific and unique to only certain characters, and this is where inheritance can stop you needing to duplicate. So what we've got here is a character class with three very straightforward methods just to take some damage, so take something away from health, to increase our health, and to add to our bag. So straight away, we've got a hero and a villain. Let's say, for example, a couple of these, like add to bag and maybe heal's universal. A couple of these are very specific to just the hero. So what we might actually want to do is make another class called hero. And in our hero class, what we're going to do is choose what we want to be just unique to that and what can stay in character. So if, for example, I had the add to bag method inside the hero, that means normal characters can't do that. Now, when you're doing this, we need to add super, then a dot, and then we need to write initialize. I need to make sure I don't forget the double underscores on either side. And then we need to give it the arguments. Now, just like the ones above, they are likely to be passed through here, except you won't need self. And this is going to pass to what we call a parent class. Now, what I need to show you is how to make this hero the child class of the character, which will be the parent class. Now, you can do this very easily by inside the parentheses after hero, you just need to write the word character. And what that's saying is character is my parent class. So that will then inherit all of the stuff from character. Now, by default, it just inherits the methods. But by writing super.init in here, that will make it run the initialize from the parent class. So then we can effectively do that normal character build. So if you imagine our hero class is now going to take some of these attributes that we had in character because we want them to apply to the hero, but not every other character that's made. So let's take, for example, the bag. So if we remove items from the character initialize area, because we're effectively going to make that inside the hero class. So every other character that's made using the character class won't have a bag, but the hero will. So I need to make sure I leave it in the initialized part of the hero character, but I can remove it from the character at the top. So that's now no longer getting items passed to it. However, when you make a hero, it is. So where it says super, I don't need items in there. So I'll remove that in a second. I'll just write self.bag equals bag, because this is going to run after, and then I'll copy and paste the for items in items self.bag.append item that we had in the character class. So I've effectively moved that inside the hero character constructor. So the hero now has that attribute, but the other characters do not. So it's not only attributes that can be different between parent and child classes. We've also got the add to bag method, which was in the character class, but now it's just going to be in the hero. So we're going to test this is working just to give it a good check, but that add to bag is just in the hero and no longer in the character. So to check it's working, let's just comment out villain for now because we don't need him. And then we need to, instead of using character to build our hero, we need to now use the hero class with capital H. And it's expecting us to pass name, health, power, and items. So let's run this. Okay, so we've got a little error. Let's work out what this is. Got an unexpected keyword argument in character. Right. Yeah, so it's saying when I run the super up here, I'm running that one. It's got no items in there, so it's an unexpected argument. So we can delete this one. Now when we run it, that's gone. So we've got rid of the errors. So let's check it's working. So let's print out the our heroes in a variable called lowercase hero. So we could do hero.bag, and you can see it's got the key and the sword in. Okay, so let's give our hero a name, because otherwise people might start getting confused between the hero class and the hero variable. Let's call our hero, well, he's called Rick, isn't he? So let's call him Rick. Okay, so we've got Rick, which is our variable name for where we're storing our object. Let's make another class, and we'll inherit from character again. So you can have subclasses from classes that have already inherited, but we'll come to that later. Villain, and we're going to inherit from character again. And now this time let's copy the first two parts of this, but we'll get rid of items. So what we're basically saying is the hero might not need any extra attributes, like, you know, like the villain might not need any extra attributes. So like the hero's got the bag, let's say the villain stays the same. So I'm just going to use the character classes name, health, and power. However, we're going to have an extra method in here. So we're going to have def steal. Okay, so what we can do with steal is we'll make it so that we can steal from the if we pass it another object, so another person, effectively we'll steal from that person. So as an argument, I'm going to call that person the victim. So I'll call that person the victim in here, and then what we want to do is we want to do victim dot bag. So we'll assume the victim's got a bag. We could do validation in here, but dot remove. And then if you remember, when you dot remove from a list, if we pass in like key, for example, it would steal the key from the hero. However, we don't know what's in their bag. So let's just do a random. So if you notice at the top of my code, I've imported random. So this would allow us to select something random from the bag. So I'm going to do random dot choice, and that's going to equal you've got to pass it a list. So victim dot bag. So as long as the victim, the object that I pass here, has got a bag attribute, this will work. I could build validation in, like I said, to stop the error, but I just don't want to make this video too heavy with code. So what we've now got, because I'm trying to show you inheritance here, we've got a parent class that's got the three attributes name, health, and power, and it's got damage and heal methods. So then we've got a hero class that by default, because it's inheriting from character, has all those things, but it's got the addition of items. It's got a bag that will put the items in, and it's got an add to bag method. So it's got an additional method and additional attribute. And then we've got a villain class that's got an additional method. It's not got any additional attributes though. So remember, you've got to run the constructor from the character class if you want to make sure you build and inherit all of the character attributes as well as the methods. So let's check this works. Let's make our villain. And it now needs to say villain, not character. So then what we want to do is check a few things. So let's start by just doing some prints. Let's check that we can see, I don't know, let's say we can add to the hero's bag. So let's say we know what it is at the start. So let's say print out hero Rick dot bag. I'll call the villain Bob as well. So let's print out Rick's bag. which is actually still what was on this screen anyway. So let's try and make sure we use that method. So let's say rick.add to bag and pass it a shield. So you can see that's worked. So the methods are working. Have I inherited correctly? So can I do damage? So let's do rick.damage 20, and let's print out the health. Local variable health reference before assignment. So let's have a look at this. So rick.damage, which is there. I know what's wrong. Self.health. There you go. So we all make mistakes. I forgot to write self in. So that's working. So also what we need is let's check the villain can steal. So let's say let's print out Rick's bag, rick.bag, which we know at the start will have 2 items in. So if we then at some point in our story want steal, so let's say that's villain, Bob dot steal, and then I'm passing it the victim, so I'm going to pass it Rick. Okay, so we don't get any errors. So if we print Rick's bag out again after we've used Bob's steal method, you can see it's now only got 1 item in. Because it's random, sometimes I nick the key, sometimes I steal the sword. So it's random. So that's a relatively strange example, if I'm honest, but that's showing you inheritance. So remember, the hero class and the villain class are subclasses or child classes for the character parent class. So they inherit all of the methods and attributes from those, but then you can have additional ones to start making your characters quite different.